In this video, I'm going to give our top 3 tips for getting started with Trusted House Sitters, the house sitting platform we use and love. Hi, I'm Veronica. In late 2019, my husband Adam and I sold all of our stuff and moved out of our home in London so we could become full-time travelers. On the edge of what we know is where we share dispatches from our life as nomads. Welcome. So the very first thing I want to mention is that Trusted House Sitters is not just for house sitters. It may seem obvious, but it's also for people who need house sitters. So if you have pets or maybe a garden or just a house that you generally don't like leaving empty when you travel, Trusted House Sitters might be a really great option for you. So real quick before I jump into our top tips for getting started, I just want to give a brief overview of what Trusted House Sitters is. The best way that I've come to describe it to people who don't know is that it's kind of like Airbnb for house sitting. There are 2 different types of profiles on Trusted House Sitters. There are hosts, those are the people who are looking for house sitters, and then there are sitters, and those are the people who are applying for house sits. So how it works is a host creates a listing for their house sit. The listing has pictures of their house, it has a description of the area that they're located in, and it also has a description of the expectations and duties that the house sitter is expected to fulfill. The sitters can search all of these listings, and the beauty of Trusted House Sitters is that it's a global platform with over 60,000 members. So we see listings from all over the world. I will say though that the majority of the listings are located in the US, the UK, and in Australia. So most listings get multiple applicants, but there are some listings that get many applicants. For hosts, I think this is really great because it means that they have many applicants to select from. But for applicants, it means that it's pretty competitive and that there's a pretty good chance that you might not be selected. As far as I know, there's no limit to the number of applications that you can submit as a house sitter. So you can definitely increase your chances of being selected by applying to multiple sits. This is something that we do and it works really well for us. One of the really great things about Trusted House Sitters is that all of the sitters on the platform have had background checks, their identities have been verified, and they also have external references. And unless they're brand new to the platform, they also have reviews from past house sits. So about the cost, the only thing that you pay for is a membership fee for the platform itself, but once you're a member, it's actually a free exchange between hosts and sitters. Hosts get free house sitters and house sitters get essentially free accommodations. It ends up being a really great value because the fee for the membership is much less expensive than a paid house sitter or likely for accommodations for that amount of time. Just a quick side note while we're on the subject of membership, there is a link in the description of this video. It's everything you need to get started with Trusted House Sitters. If you use the link, you'll get 25% off of your membership. And if you're watching this on Instagram, go to our stories highlight titled House Sit and you'll see the discount code there. All right, and now for our top 3 tips for getting started with Trusted House Sitters. So number 1 is make sure that your profile is really attractive. When you're first starting out on the platform, you want to make sure that your profile stands out against applicants who have more experience and more reviews. And the best way to do this is to make sure that your profile is great. So here are a few of our top tips. Make sure you have at least 3 external references. Think of references kind of like reviews for people who don't yet have reviews on the platform. It's really important and you don't want to skip this step. You definitely want to highlight any experience you have caring for animals or properties, and it definitely includes any experience that you may have caring for an elderly animal or an animal that maybe needed medication. You never know who's going to read your profile, and it's those little details that might differentiate you from another sitter. Make sure you have really good pictures uploaded to your profile, and if possible, include an animal or 2. Talk up other roles and responsibilities you've had in other aspects of your life that show your trustworthiness. When it really comes down to it, people just want to feel comfortable with who they have in their home and looking after their pets. So any detail or job or role that you've had in your life that exemplify this could be really helpful. If possible, link out to other profiles like your Airbnb profile or your LinkedIn profile. These are just added levels of verification that some people really rely on that again might differentiate you from another applicant. Number 2, start with local last-minute sits. It can be difficult to be selected for more competitive sits when you're first starting out on the platform and you don't have any reviews yet. So a great way to build your profile and get some reviews fast is to apply for some local last-minute sits. Generally speaking, these last-minute sits get fewer applicants, and the host may be more eager to accept applicants that might not have many reviews yet, since they just want somebody to fill the position. So it's something to consider. We actually did this and it ended up working out really well for us. And last but not least, number 3 is go above and beyond. We really feel like the best way to be successful on the platform is just to do a really great job as sitters. And one way to just make sure that you do a great job is to go above and beyond. That will look different, of course, depending on the sit, but here are just some examples of some ways that we've gone the extra mile. One thing that we do is we just make sure that we're sending frequent updates. This is a fine line because you don't want to overwhelm the hosts with text messages and pictures and updates. So the first thing I always do is I just ask them if they have a preference of how they would like to be updated and at what kind of frequency they would like to be updated. Some people want, daily updates or, even multiple times a day updates. That's totally fine. I can make that happen. And some people are more chill and they just kind of want to enjoy their vacation. So I just try and get a sense of where they're at, and I definitely stick to that. And I'll also switch it up. So sometimes I'll make like video chronicles and like a little video compilation of some funny things that the animals are doing. Just small things like that really help the owners feel more at ease. Another thing that we do is we like to buy small things for the animals and the hosts. So for the animals, that usually means, a toy or two that's just fun to play with them, and the hosts usually really appreciate it. And then we usually like to buy just a very small welcome home gift for the host. Nothing big, maybe a card or a small plant, or just something, a token of our appreciation for them trusting us with their animals and home. And the last thing that we do to go above and beyond is we make sure that their place is spotless. This is really important to us because as travelers ourselves, we know how important it is to come home to a clean space. And we just really try and put ourselves in their shoes and think about what they really would appreciate when they come home. In addition to just leaving the place really clean, we try and think of little things like, for instance, buying a bag of coffee beans if they're running low, or if I know that they have a late flight coming in, I'll make sure that I've washed and dried their sheets and towels so that they can just go right to sleep. Just small things like that I think people really appreciate. Thanks so much for watching this video of our top tips for getting started with trusted house sitters. Again, if you're interested in signing up, there's a link in the description of this video.